Hi, my name is Oliver Schultz, and I'll be teaching you today how to prepare a recipe that is my own. It is a honey and basil vinaigrette. So yeah, I think let's get right to it. Right. The first thing that is super important to this dish is the actual basil in the dish. The basil adds a distinct freshness to it, I find, and it without the basil, I find that the dish would just become like a sour and sweet kind of mess. It balances it out very perfectly in my mind. So what we're gonna first do is we're gonna finely chop very thin pieces of basil. So what we're gonna do to start this off, you could use a regular food processor if you wanted, or you could do it the way that I'm doing it here. The first thing we must do is we're going to roll it into a cigar shape. So what we call this is a chiffonade cut. It's when you take your knife and you take your leaves, your basil leaves, your mint leaves, or your even your bay leaves. You could do this with any of those. So you take your basil here. You're going to roll it really thin, really tight, and you're going to slowly do that here, and begin just to slowly cut down the side like that. So what you're doing here is you're going to cut it really, really thin like that. And eventually we're going to turn all this basil here into a brunoise cut. A brunoise cut is just a very, 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 very small cut like that. So you need about 15 or so basil leaves. I've already cut about I believe 8 or so. Yeah, so we'll do a couple more here. And after that, I'll show you how to do the brunoise. And one more sec here. We'll do another bit here, like that. All right. Perfect. So we have enough basil here to actually start doing the brunoise cut. So the brunoise cut, like I said, is just a very, very, very small cut. And what I find would be easiest to do is just to take all your chinois cut of basil and just slowly drag your knife across it like that. You basically are forcing it to get cut in half, getting cut into quarters, and just get really, really small. And keep doing this until it's a really, really small cut. And really fine. It's gotta be as fine as you can get it. As fine as possible. We're gonna keep going here. Keep at it. Get it all together. Here. This is already starting to get really fine, if you may find. But you're going to keep going at it until it's just almost really, like, that's almost perfect here. We're almost extremely good on the basil in this dish here. And I think we're good on the basil there. And you can stop recording. Good. So the next step is actually preparing the vinaigrette portion of the recipe. So an important step in making a vinaigrette is using mustard, because mustard has a certain ingredient in it called lecithin. Lecithin is in soybeans, it's in eggs as well. It's an agent that can combine, can create an emulsion effect. An emulsion effect is combining two unmixable liquids together. So that in this case it would be white wine vinegar and olive oil. So this is also for hollandaise and béarnaise sauces as well. What we're going to do first is we're going to take our Dijon mustard, not a ton, just 2 teaspoons of it to be exact. We'll give it a shake, and we'll put it in here. 2 teaspoons to be exact. Okay, that's our first, right in there. Right in there, yeah, okay. And let's do our next teaspoon here. Dash it down. There we go. That is the first step, is actually adding that Dijon mustard to the unmixable liquid. It provides the lecithin to it. So we're gonna actually add honey next. Not a ton of honey, just same amount as mustard, so about 2 teaspoons. It provides a sweetness to it. It makes it, again, so it's not like just like fresh liquid, if that makes any sense. So not fresh, not just sour, but it balances it out just pretty perfectly, in my opinion. I think it works very well. This is a new honey, so I actually have to open it up and take out the plastic of it. We'll do 2 teaspoons of it. Pour it right in there. That's about 2. That's our first. Add our next. All right. And that's our honey in. So that provides the sweetness to balance this whole emulsion of 2 unmixable liquids together. It balances it out in flavor. So the next step would be adding our white wine vinegar. The white wine vinegar is, I feel like it adds, it's good for the color of it, because you wouldn't want a red wine vinegar in this. It wouldn't look as good, in my opinion, with it, and it adds a distinct, better flavor than the red wine vinegar, in my opinion. So what we're gonna do for the white wine vinegar is we're just gonna add a tablespoon of that here. An important thing to remember when making a vinaigrette is the ratio of vinegar to oil needs to be 1 to 1/3. 1 to 1/3, so that means 3 tablespoons of olive oil and 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. And we'll just give that a quick mix here. All of our ingredients so they're nice and mixed in together. Give it a nice toss together here real quick. Yeah, so that's our color we want. That's a bit of a yellow color from the mustard and the white wine vinegar and the honey all mixed together. So something to remember is olive oil, it has like a very strong flavor to it. This is actually a trick taught by my chef at my school. And if you were to add olive oil to it, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons, so that's 1. We'll do a quick mixing of all of that because this is an emulsion, so it's not gonna wanna go together at first. And something to remember when doing a vinaigrette is it's not a permanent emulsion. It won't stay together forever. They will always, always, always fall apart. Sadly, they'll always fall apart. But the actual mustard that you add to it helps it stay together. If you were to just do a basic vinaigrette without mustard, you wouldn't have it stay together as well. Yeah, so the next step we're gonna do here is we're gonna add half a tablespoon of canola oil with our next tablespoon of olive oil. Or we're gonna do half a tablespoon of olive oil and then half a tablespoon of canola oil. Canola oil will really help balance out the flavor of the olive oil in the mixture because it's such a strong, distinct flavor. That was a tip shot by my chef. I was gonna say that earlier, it just slipped my mind. Real quick, we'll just do it. Same color, almost even, too. We'll do it real quick and throw it right in. Okay, that's in there now. And we just gotta mix it one more time, and that's pretty well our vinaigrette almost done here. What we're gonna do next, though, is we're gonna have to add the basil leaves. The Brunoise basil leaves add the next flavor level to this. It really adds to it, I find, and makes it fresher, not just like a mess of sour and not just a mess of sour sweet. It makes it fresher and makes it nicer to touch and to combine with the salad. And that's how you make my vinaigrette. And that's everything. Thank you.